I always wanted this sound from my Gibson Les Paul. Not this one. I mean, come on people, I don't want my guitar to sound like Frank Zappa in 2023, do I? What's going on, guys? I'm AndyPaul and you're watching Guitar Guru channel. Today I just want to talk about my personal experience of finding best Gibson Les Paul for myself. We will talk about vintage Les Pauls versus historic collections versus contemporary custom shop and how it all compares to regular Gibson factory guitars. Judging by the smile on my face, you probably understand that I found a perfect one for myself. Check it out. Well, here we go. I'm a die-hard Fender Stratocaster fan, and all my favorite guitarists, they played Fender Stratocaster. Richard Blackmore, Jimi Hendrix, David Gilmour, Yngwie Malmsteen, all of them, except one guy. He stood out. It was John Sykes from Whitesnake 1987. Google this album. The sales of this album compete even with Michael Jackson sales or Whitney Houston back in 1987. The album is just awesome. It's more than awesome. And all guitars on 1987 Whitesnake were recorded by John Sykes, and he played Gibson Les Paul Custom. This is when I actually decided that maybe one day, just maybe, I will buy my Gibson Les Paul. It took me more than 20 years to finally commit to a purchase of Gibson guitar. If you play guitar, you probably know that Gibsons are generally more expensive than anything else, especially when it comes to high-end custom shop guitars. Here's the process you will go if you are shopping for Gibson Les Paul. In the beginning, you see it as two options: the regular factory Gibson Les Paul or custom shop. And when I went to a guitar shop and tried regular factory guitars, I was amazed how low quality of the sound this guitar gives you. Although they're still expensive, you would still pay from $1,500 to $2,500 for a factory regular Gibson Les Paul, but the sound is dull. No sound saturation, no sustain. So it doesn't sound like these Gibsons from big guys like John Sykes or let's say Tom Kiefer from Cinderella. It's not even close. So basically you realize you have to go with custom shop. What this famous guitarist use is Gibson Les Paul custom shop. Once I made up my mind and I decided to go for a heavyweight guitar, which is like extremely expensive custom shop guitar, I realized there are still options. So basically you have to decide between vintage, historic collection and contemporary custom shop. Sometimes also you will see a word relic next to contemporary custom shop guitars. I will explain what these terms mean in a minute. So I went to a guitar center where they have a custom shop guitars section, which is separately, they are locked on the wall, right? You need to ask someone from the store to get this guitar and try it. And I noticed how much better the custom shop Gibsons are compared to regular factory guitars. So that was the way to go. But what would I do with vintage, historic collection or contemporary custom shop? So my process of thoughts was exactly this. I decided to buy a contemporary custom shop, so-called guitar, right? Because it's new and I wanted actually a new guitar from the start, right? To make it mine specifically. I wanted to pick a guitar that resonates with me, that is 100% mine and it speaks to me. It's very hard to do though when you cannot play it, when you cannot try it. So basically the method I chose was to go to Guitar Center and basically order a Black Beauty. It was a reissue, contemporary custom shop reissue of 1968, more contemporary sound. But unfortunately, they make you wait for 10 months. As of 2023, they make you wait for 10 months to deliver that guitar. So it's made specifically for you at a custom shop. And I'm still waiting for this guitar. That's ridiculous. I'm waiting for 10 months. But meanwhile, I will keep the order, and I decided to find something that I can play right now. So I tried again custom shop guitars that are available in my area, and I'm in Virginia, Maryland, DC, DMV area. I found a pretty good custom shop section at Guitar Center in Falls Church, and I got an opportunity to try contemporary custom shop Gibson Les Paul Standard. And the name of this guitar is 2018 Gibson Les Paul Standard Custom Shop Royal T-Burst. That's the name of the color, Royal T-Burst, reissue of 1958. It reminds me of Royale with cheese.
They call it Royale with cheese.
Royale with cheese.
That's right.
What do they call a Big Mac?
So I got a chance to compare contemporary Les Paul custom shop guitar to a historic collection and a real vintage guitar. So contemporary custom shop went for $5,000. Historic collection was $8,000. Another historic collection $12,000, and vintage $38,000. I'm not kidding. To my surprise, contemporary custom shop guitar did sound better, and it was easier to play, and it was better adjusted with better action, with volume and EQ knobs working better, less noise on these custom buckers compared to vintage and historic collection. So the problem with vintage guitars and historic collection is that first, they are super expensive. Second, they are old. They are truly old. They can be 20, 30, 50 and more years old, right? And all the components inside, like electronics, pickups, volume knobs, potentiometers and so on, they all have life expectancy, right? And by the time the guitar is 30 years old or 50 years old, they already exhausted the life expectancy. And you basically need to change everything inside your guitar to actually make it work good if you're a guitar player, right? Plus, metal fret wires are eaten by strings, so you also need to replace metal fret wires, which is a lot of hassle. So, lesson number one, if you're not a collector or super famous musician, do not buy vintage or historic collection guitars. They're overpriced, they're not in good shape inside and sometimes out, and they make sense only if you put them on a wall behind the glass door so people would admire it as a painting, right? If you are a working musician and you want your guitar to function well, you better go with contemporary custom shop. They give you less noise, and I'm not kidding. I picked a gold top reissue of 1956, and it was made in 2001. So guitar was 22 or 23 years old, and it's exhausted life expectancy of some components. It gave me a lot of static noise, and let me show you, I recorded how big of the noise it was giving me, even with clean sound. You can imagine how bad it was with powerful distortion. The noise was pretty much on the same level as actual sound of the guitar. So I paid more than $4,000, but guitar was useless. I was not able to record or play it on stage. Check it out. I'm in clean sound on this amp. So it's regular clean. That's the noise. Now I'm plugging another guitar into clean, right? Look. It's completely silent. So let me briefly summarize my experience. I purchased this Black Beauty from Guitar Center initially. They make me wait for 10 months. I'm pretty sure the guitar is gonna sound awesome because it has same metal plated custom buckers as you can see here, and this guitar sounds very good in drive distortion. If you order this custom shop guitar from Guitar Center, do not buy it directly from the website. Call their agent and make sure it's around major holidays so you can ask for discount. In my case, it was close to Christmas and I was able to get $1,000 off. So instead of $6,000, I paid only $5,000. And the cool thing, you can also put it on their credit card called Geo Card from Guitar Center and spread payments into 6 months. While waiting for my Black Beauty, I ordered another guitar from reverb.com, and it was Historic Collection 2001 Gibson Les Paul Custom Shop reissue of 1956 with famous P90 pickups, and people love P90s because of a very solid, clean sound. But in my experience, they are noisy AF, so I would not recommend these pickups if you play contemporary music. Just make sure you look for Custom Shop P90 noiseless. They exist, just Google it. And although P90s are pretty good with clean sound, they still don't give you same breaking glass-like sound you can hear with Fender Stratocaster. And I know you Gibson fanboys will jump on me arguing, but here's a comparison of Custom Shop Gibson Les Paul with pretty cheap Fender Stratocaster playing clean sound. Check this out. Finally, I traded in my P90 Historic Collection to a contemporary custom shop made in 2018. It's a reissue of 1958, which is golden age of Gibson Les Paul. Now I wonder if this contemporary custom shop guitar will give me same sound as John Sykes or let's say Tom Kiefer from Cinderella. You might remember the song called Nobody's Fool, and Cinderella played live in Moscow, very lengthy guitar solo, and it was absolutely out of this world. The sustain was unbelievable and it was endless. So I wonder if my guitar can do exact same. Let's check it out. So you saw that Tom Kiefer has a very similar guitar to this one. Let's say if we get the same sound, and I'm not going to use any enhancements, no reverb, no chorus, no delay, just a RC booster, pre-warmer, and tube amp Friedman right here. Okay, let's check the sound. But here you may say, of course, you're using very expensive rig, Friedman tube amp, that is custom shop made, and that's why you get this sound. Here I have a news for you, my friend. I will be using a tiny, very inexpensive VOX Valvetronix. It's called VT40. I will put links for Friedman and this VOX in the description for this video, so you can hopefully find it. Probably 350 bucks for this particular combo, and this is what it gets you. As you could hear, it's not really amplifier, it's the guitar, right? Even this tiny, inexpensive amp gives you that sustain and gives you feedback when you point your pickups towards the speaker, which is really awesome, because a lot of famous guitarists do that on stage. And again, this little piece from John Sykes, Whitesnake 1987, I played in the beginning. Now I'll be playing through my Gibson and tiny VOX amplifier. Check this out.